It's only episode 2, and the drama is already boiling over. From family barbecues that turn into interventions and then some, questionable Halloween choreography, and it's clear no one's playing nice. Let's break it all down. Like the video as the intro plays. Hi, you guys. I'm Chanel Unfiltered, and welcome to the channel. As you come into the room, make sure to like the video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you get notified every time a video drops. Feel free to hop in the comments and hop in the chat. Just let me know how you feel, how you think about how things are going. All right, you guys, if you would like a recap of episode 1 along with the breakdown of the cast, please see my previous video that I posted. So before we get started, let me make this disclaimer. The opinions that I'm about to give are mine and mine alone. I am not a Mormon. I do not claim to be, and I'm not about to pretend like I know the ins and out of that lifestyle. Now that we got that out the way, I hope you got you a cup or a glass of something grown and sexy because we are about to get started. All right, you guys, how we left off in episode 1 was this get together at Miranda's house. Now, let me be honest, we start out super, super strong. Macy starts out by questioning, girl, why we here? Like, what's up? What's really going on? Most of the ladies feel like Miranda popping back up in the group is really convenient. Miranda tells the girls, hey, I needed to work some things out, definitely with my husband. Meanwhile, we cut back to Macy again saying that there's something definitely going on. And Miranda is definitely involved in the swinging scandal more than what she admits to be. So she sits back and, she makes Taylor the bad guy. At this point, most of the girls, they're cutting to them doing their green screens. And most of the girls are kind of saying the same thing. Meanwhile, Whitney's there, sitting in the background, chilling like, I think I believe Miranda and not necessarily these other ladies, but we know that's because of the history that Whitney has with the Montauk group. So she says that she never wanted to admit what really went on because of her church and her family. Miranda says she wants her and Taylor to try to hash it out. Meanwhile, Taylor talks about she had a sex dream about Chase. Now, Chase is Miranda's ex husband. We'll talk about him a lot later on. But we find out that Chase apparently told Taylor that he had feelings for her. Taylor ended up telling Miranda, uh, well, let's take that back. Taylor never really said anything to Amanda, but we all know somehow, some way, those two ladies are in cahoots and kind of keeping things hush hush when it comes to Miranda and this swinging scandal. All right, here we see one of the original best friends, Miranda. She gets all emotional. She's crying and she's like, "Oh, I just miss my best friend." Girl, you don't miss your best friend because let's be honest, at this point and stage of the game, both of you ladies have been wives, both of you ladies have been mothers. Um, if you missed your best friend so much, you could have picked up the phone and called, you could have sent a text, you could have sent a DM, you could have sent an email. Girl, you could have hit her up on WhatsApp. Let's be for real. If this was really your best friend, there is nothing more than a conversation that needs to be had. And I'm talking about a mature adult conversation. We will continue on through the rest of the season that find out that a lot of these ladies claim to be adults, not so much. All right. Taylor is showing more of an empathetic side. And this is definitely because of everything that went down with her in season one and her talking about her journey of dealing with the swinging scandal. She's definitely is more empathetic to Whitney and Miranda at this point because she feels like she knows what it's like to have people kick you when you're down, especially people that are supposed to love and care for you and be there for you. But right now in this group, it's not a whole lot of loving and caring. After Taylor expresses how she feels, a lot of the girls are sitting around still confused because they feel like Miranda never answered any of the questions that they were throwing at her. Like, basically, girl, why we at your house and why you ain't here to talk about what really happened with the swinging scandal and what really went down between you and Taylor? And so we end up wrapping up the party, and there are still not very many questions answered, if any questions answered at all. Next, we go to a scene where we see Jesse and Demi. These chicks is out here like in full party planning mode. They are deciding, or have decided rather, that they are going to throw this huge Halloween party. Part of the Halloween party will be a Chippendale surprise that they have hired a actual Chippendales dancer, and then Demi and Jesse's husband are also going to perform in the routine. Jesse feels like she might be in the wrong. Miss Jessie has decided that she's going to invite Miranda's ex-husband, Chase. And we also find out that Chase is dating Jesse's friend. And she is really, really doing this so that she can make an attempt to get everybody together to find out what really happened between Chase, Miranda, Taylor, and Taylor's ex husband, and whoever else was involved in this quote unquote swinging group. Um, so Jesse, I love it. Jesse is being messy at the messiest level of finest. Why don't I just throw a party? Everybody gonna be there, and maybe we can finally get everything on the table. And I'm here for it. The next scene, we see Michaela, Layla, Demi, and Jesse. They're out shopping for the Halloween party and all the different costumes. We find out that Layla is officially divorced. She's had some plastic surgery, so in her mind, she's body yada yada. I'm not mad at you, boo. You could have got maybe just a little bit more curve, but I'm not mad at you. Layla is a very petite, demure female. She has natural curves. I do like that the surgery that she got was not over the top. It's maybe some of the people that we see that come on reality TV by season two, by season three, they look like a character. Layla's surgeon did very good. Layla still looks very natural, and I'm here for it. We also find out that Layla has a new boyfriend. His name is Cameron, and they have been dating for about 4 months. Now, um, if you go back to season one, Layla's first husband was actually handsome for her. She is like myself. She is very plain Jane, very regular. But she's super cute, and her ex-husband matched the simpleness but the cuteness of it all. Mr. Cameron, I don't know. Maybe he's one of those guys that once we get to learn something about him, or we see how he treats Layla, he will be attractive on that end. If you know what I'm speaking, that you might be with someone who, to the outside, he's just a regular schmegular guy. Some people might consider ugly, but he might treat you better than maybe you've ever been treated, or he might treat you the way that you deserve. And that confidence and that swag is what makes him attractive. But I'm curious to find out what Mr. Cameron is going to give us. So we move on and we see Zach. Zach is sitting up and he's talking about, he's ready to move back home. He is ready for everything that's went on with the Jen to kind of be pushed to the side, and basically they move on. He claims that he's changed. We flip to Jesse and Demi basically saying, we don't think he's changed that much. We think he just wants back in because he wants back in his house. Um, a lot of the things that we find out is Jen is kind of becoming a focal point to a lot of the ladies, because Jen is kind of, how do I say this? Jen is kind of the person that when she's mad, she's angry, and she's upset. The people that she vent to are the people that she vent to. And I think a lot of times Jen maybe forgets, and this is me giving her grace, of some of the things that maybe she tells her friends. Because when she goes back home to her husband and they flash different shots and scenes, we see that she tells her husband something completely different. But we will delve into that just a little bit later. Um, they go back to different things in season one where we see Jen basically saying the negative things that she said about Zach. And then we see where Zach basically, at one point, he told Jen that she was disgusting, she was a bad mom, she was dumb, and that he didn't love her. I am sitting here and I'm still kind of confused as to why are we here with them? Why are we in their group chat? Mm, I generally don't care. I'm going to talk about it because it's something to talk about, but Jen and Zach are my least favorite couple of any of the ladies and their husbands or boyfriends or fiancés. These two are my absolute least favorite. We then continue with the ladies, and they talk about, basically how hard it is to be a Mormon woman, more than anything, how hard it is to be a Mormon wife. They are basically telling us and educating us that Mormon women stay in marriages that are toxic because divorce is so frowned upon in religion. And it's 2025, you guys. This particular season was filmed in 2024. Mental health is so important, whether it's you going on a self discovery journey, whether you're healing past trauma, whether you just need some assistance getting through things that maybe you don't feel that mentally you can get on your own. Mental health is so important. Again, is 2025, and I am proud of the Mom Talk group because they are trying to break out of the stereotypical shell. The thing that constantly kind of is an underlying theme in season one and definitely showing up in season two is underlying mental health and all the things that aren't talked about, which hopefully, as we'll see, as the season continues to progress, and there will definitely be more mental health highlights. From season one to now season two, Taylor has definitely been on a mental health journey. She has been the only one in the group that has openly put out that she is in therapy and has been in therapy. All right, you guys. Our next scene, we're going to see Dakota, Zach, and Brent. Brett is Demi's husband. During this time, we find out that Dakota finally admits he lied. Bro, we knew this. Like, we knew this. You did lie in season one, and now we're just an episode of season two. And yeah, you admit you lied, but you're doing typical male behavior. You admit it to your friends and your counterparts, but the person that you need to admit it to, which is Taylor, you just kind of like leaving her hanging out there in the wind. A lot of times, what we've seen in Taylor and Dakota's relationship is they really had problems expressing themselves as far as how they felt, their boundaries, and things of that nature, which led to fights, arguments, blow ups, the arrest, and all of those things. I really wish in this scene we would have gotten Dakota admitting to Taylor that he lied, but he telling his homeboys. It is what it is. He talks about his regrets because he's a first time father and that he feels like because of what's going on between him and Taylor, he is missing out. He also talks about wanting to fix things with Taylor. We find out that what Zach wanted, he got. He tells the guys that he's back with Jen. He talks about all the repercussions of the things that happened with the Chippendales, which what I just said a few minutes ago, him calling her disgusting, a bad mom, all of those things were all the things that he said to her after she got back to the hotel room in season one and never actually seen the Chippendale performance because she was so busy being berated by her wonderful husband. Anyway, we also find out that Zach has not been going to church. Zach's father, I believe, is a pastor or a minister in church, in the Mormon church. He's very high up and very respected. Most of the people in the Affleck family that is part of the Mormon community, they are really, really involved. He says that because of everything that's went down with him and Jen and because of the show, he's not been attending church because he doesn't feel accepted. He feels embarrassed. Well, sir, you got on national TV and said the things that you said about your wife to your wife, um, instead of taking a beat and thinking, hey, I got cameras all around. Whether you're in the Mormon community or you're just like me, a regular schmegular person, even sitting here in this room and recording, there are cameras going, there are lights. Granted, it is just me, but sir, your mom is part of Mom Talk. They record everything that they do. If you didn't want people to see that side of you, you just should have kept that for another time. But oh no, you got up here and showed your natural ass, and now you're embarrassed. You should be. So, him and Dakota also talk about the death threats that they have been receiving. Well, again, you all get on national TV, and these women that are your partners that you are supposed to uphold and be the head of the household and love and protect and support. We watched you all first season not quite do that. So I don't know. You get what you get. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is Jen and Zach sit down, and Jen feels like he should sit down and talk to Jesse and Demi. In season one, it was Jesse, Demi, and Jen. Those three were together. Um, but since the Chippendales and everything that's went on with Jen and Zach up and moving to New York, and then Zach going to medical school, Jen coming back, attempting to be back in the group, there's a lot of stress and it's a lot of tension. Um, Jen talks to Zach. They end up attending a ketamine session. Now, ketamine therapy is very frowned upon. I don't know if it's just ketamine or if it's therapy that happens to be drug induced. They do talk about, this is something that they are not raised to do. This is something that, is totally out the norm and out the box. But Zach, being a man or someone that's trying to get back in good graces and get back into their household, he agrees to do it. We during the ketamine session find out that he is now agreeable to talk to Jesse and Demi about all the things that's going on. And Zach ends up telling us that, you know, there's been a lot of back and forth, like I just mentioned. For the rest of the season, you're going to see a lot of back and forth between Jen and Zach. This is only the start. The next thing that we do is we go to the coffee shop. And at the coffee shop is where we're going to see Demi, Jesse, and Zach. Now, the girls are like, okay, we're going to hear him out. Zach is more of in a protective husband mode. Everybody is under this delusion because Jen put them under this delusion. Jen is playing both sides to the middle, and let's get into it. So Zach starts out by apologizing, and he basically is like, look, I overreacted when it came to the Chippendales, and I just want to sit down, and I have apologized to Jen, and I want to apologize to you, Jesse, and you to me. This totally catches the ladies off guard. They like, oh, maybe he done learned something. Maybe he's matured a little bit. Let's keep going. So the conversation starts to get really heated. Jen basically told Zach that Jesse and Demi talk negative about him. And Jesse and Demi like, no, no, no. Hold up, homeboy. Wait. That ain't quite how this is going. Your wife come to us, she running her mouth, and then she talk about you just as bad as apparently she's over here talking about us. They continue to point out a lot of the things that Jen has said. At this point, we're getting flashback scenes of Jen basically saying, you know, Zach is just this narcissistic guy and it was passed down. I just really think his narcissism is genetic. And I'm like, oh wow. You basically done called all the men in his family narcissists. Granted, Zach is the only one of his family that we've seen on the show, but that absolutely says a lot. And ma'am, if you think your husband is so narcissistic, why are you still here? Like, can we talk about it? Mm. So the conversation goes on, and the ladies tell him, you know, look, we were under the impression that some of these conversations that Jen was having with us, she was also having with you. And like I said, let's be honest. Who doesn't go to their good girlfriend, their good Judy, their good homeboy, whatever the case may be, and you just need to vent and you just need to get it out. And like I said, they continue to show clips of all the things that Jen has sat down and told Jesse and Demi. And during these clips, they're from season one. If you go back and watch different episodes in season one, you generally see Jesse and Demi being really good friends. They're like, hey, we love you. We there for you. Girl, if this what you choose, this what you choose. But we just gonna let you know it's something out here better, basically letting her know we understand that this is your husband, but you don't have to accept being treated however you feel that he's treating you. Not saying that the grass is greener on the other side, but baby, there's others out there that can treat you better and show you the respect that you deserve. And clearly, the fact that Jen showed back up in Utah without Zach left these ladies to believe that now she's here to work on herself, continue to work on her business, and try to be the best mom that she can. She points out and makes it seem like, well, I was doing all these things and then Zach just showed up. Again, we'll find out later what the real tea behind this is. Now, at this point, Jesse and Demi are kind of questioning, is Jen really, coming to us telling us the truth? Or is she just sitting here just throwing stuff out of left field? We find out that Jen told Zach that when everything went down after Chippendales and then them taking off and moving to New York, that nobody ever reached out to her. Well, the ladies are sitting here like, nah, bro, that ain't true. We reached out to her several times and she never responded. Like I said, Jen is playing both sides to the middle. Well, the conversation between those three continue. And basically, outside of the initial apology that Zach gave, we're just kind of at a standstill. Zach is confused. The ladies are confused. The ladies then put two and two together and realize Jen just says whatever needs to be said for her to be accepted in the moment. And then she goes home and she tells her husband something different. And I think maybe from Zach's reaction, maybe his eyes are opening up a little bit more. Because if you are the spouse and you're coming to me and you're telling me your version and your side of things as your spouse, your partner, your counterpart, I'm going to believe what you tell me. I'm not going to question, I'm not going to any of that because you're coming to me telling me. Not until, like I said, people start sitting down and adding up the stories. And then we find out, no, wait a minute, B. Uh, Now who said what? And that's basically where we are just at this moment. Um, Zach ends up coming home and he starts telling Jen about some of the things that happened. And he ends up telling Jen that the ladies told him that she said that he was a narcissist. And they basically told him all the stuff that she had been coming back and telling him. Well, Jen is sitting there looking like Boo Boo the Fool. She like, what? Oh my God, why would they say that? I would never. And she's sitting there like she's confused. And Jesse and Demi are lying. She has no idea why they sitting here saying things. Ma'am, they just showed us clips. Like, be for real. They just showed us clips of what you said. Like, maybe you need to go back and watch season one, or maybe you and Zach need to sit down and watch it together so y'all can sit down and have a real honest conversation and basically so you can be effing honest with yourself. Like, which one is it? Do you want to be mad at him? Do you want him back? Do you want your friends? Girl, figure it out and work on it. Um, she basically ends up telling Zach, that she doesn't feel like like Jesse and Demi are really her true friends. She feel like they have a one-sided opinion. Jen talks about all she's done is defend her relationship with her husband. She's like, well, I feel like the trust has been broken. So Zach just flat out tell her, say, bro, quit talking to them about me. If y'all gonna talk, y'all talk on a girl level, but what go on in this house, stay in this house. And for those of you who know, you know, because I grew up with that saying. What go on here, stay here. It ain't nobody business what's going on outside. And through my years of being married, yeah, I agree with him on that one. I absolutely agree with him on that one. She still is standing firm that she hasn't talked to anybody since the Vegas trip and that those girls just left her standing out here in the wind, which again, they keep showing us clips and we find out that that is definitely not true. So the next thing that we're going to get to is um we're gonna see that Jen and Zach are going to come to Jesse's home and they're gonna sit down, the four of them, and have this conversation. Um, Everybody at this point is basically wanting Jen to be honest. I want Jen to be honest. Um, they are all sitting around at this point in Jesse's house, and they all are sitting around realizing that it's Jen. Jen is the problem. Um, Both Jesse and Demi basically spend the whole time side eyeing Jen, like, girl, that's not what you said. Girl, that ain't what you told us. Why is you sitting here now that your husband in your face and you acting like we making stuff up? And, you know, who if I was in my 20s, I would have got up and slapped the dog we out of this girl because you sitting up playing in people's face. But now that I'm older, I'm in my 40s, I matured a little bit. I would have just politely said, you know what? Since y'all gonna sit here and not tell the truth, baby, y'all can exit stage left and get up out my door. And I see y'all when I see y'all. But again, let's not forget, we're filming a show. So you gotta attempt to have these conversations. Um, we get back to the conversation, and like I said, Jesse and Demi called Jen out and say, look, girl, you playing both sides to the middle. We not here for this. We did not ask to be a part of your marriage. We did not ask for any of the things that you showed up and told us about your husband. Like, we didn't ask for any of this. Um, Please take us out the group chat. Is basically what these girls are ending up telling us. And again, the producers are messy, messy, messy. Baby, these producers keep showing clips of Jen running her mouth, and let me tell you, I sat back and I was just cackling. As they showing these clips, you see Jen, she starts stumbling over her words. And we find out that Jen is a little liar because she ends up telling us that Zach didn't gamble away his college tuition. And now we see, baby girl is just a little bit of a liar. Um, we also find out that Jen likes to play the victim. Jen is really pretty. She's really cute. She's definitely is one of these girls that her looks have taken her very far. And her tears also take her very far. If I could personally meet Jen, I would say, baby, welcome to the real world where you cry and life still moves on. But when you lie, you have to realize there's so much more to lose. And every time you lie, you're basically just like taking away pieces of yourself. I just want baby girl to get it together because Jen, you are not a victim in this. You played equal parts in the destruction that we're going to see of you all's friendship and some other things that we'll get on to later on in the season. We also find out that several of these ladies were on Vanderpump Villa season 2. So to be specific, it was Demi, Jen, Jesse, Layla, and Michaela. During this sit down between the four of them, Jen brings up Italy. Now, I didn't watch Vanderpump Villa. I don't think I've watched anything Vanderpump probably since season 3 or 4 of Vanderpump Rules. Even though I love this show, I just wasn't willing to watch Vanderpump Villa. But if you are interested, season 2 is on Peacock. You can definitely tune in and see what Mom Talk was up to on there. We also find out that Zach is not related to Ben Affleck, and Zach definitely looks at Jen and was like, "Stop telling people we're not related." And her again, "Oh my God, I thought that I heard so and so in the family say that." And Zach is like, "Girl, we was just sitting up joking. You really been out here telling people?" We're going to see a lot more of this behavior from Jen because I don't think Jen is at a place where she can separate her public image from her private life. And because she is still very green to reality TV, she's definitely not in a good place. She's just mm, moving on. The next thing we get to is Taylor's family barbecue. So Taylor's parents have got together and decided to have a little get together to barbecue. The setup is really cute. It's at Taylor's parents' house. Taylor gets there and she finds out from her mom and dad that they've decided to invite Dakota. Well, we should see from this initial reaction, this is going to be drama. So Let's go. Um, we find out that we don't find out. We basically see that Taylor's parents are basically Team Dakota right now. They basically are telling Taylor, you need to get it together, you need to reconcile, and you need to reconcile with Dakota for the sake of you all's child. Now, again, Ever is the little baby's name. He is Dakota's only child, but is not Taylor's only child. Taylor got kids from her ex husband. And I'm assuming that right now, being a mom and having going through a divorce, when it comes to how she deals with the fathers of her children, it's probably been a learning experience for her. And that's why she feels when it comes to Taylor being there all the time and saying that he needs to be there for his son. Your son is still a baby. He's not going to remember. He's not going to know. That's all I have to say about that. So as we continue the conversation between Taylor, her parents, and Dakota, we basically see Taylor start to express that she's feeling betrayed, she feels isolated, and right now she doesn't feel any support from her family, particularly her parents and some of the extended family members. We basically see Taylor at this point is like over the whole thing. I'm really proud of Taylor because you can tell like her progression in therapy. In the beginning of season 1, Taylor was doing a lot of lashing out. She still is lashing out, but she's able to express her feelings. Through all the tears and the yelling, she's still able to express her feelings and express her boundaries. And in season 1, Taylor was not having boundaries. That goes back to why in the beginning I said there is a lot of underlying mental health things going on in play. And I will again continue to applaud Taylor for being on her journey. We get to a point in this conversation where Taylor's dad, I kind of liked him in season 1, and right now in season 2, it's a no for me, sir. It's an absolute no. He basically called Taylor out for sleeping with Dakota. Um, at that point, you could look or pause and see the look on Taylor's face. Taylor's looking absolutely broken. Taylor is definitely a dad's girl. So to sit there with her dad and basically have a daddy tell her you was out here being a hoe. If you wasn't ready for what comes with being in a relationship or having a child, you shouldn't have laid down. Now, what Taylor's dad is saying is very true. But in this case, it's his delivery of the message in the way that he delivered. And it was kind of those right message, wrong messenger, and right message, wrong time. I felt like instead of calling her out the way that he did at the family barbecue, this could have been a father daughter conversation. We sitting down, just you and me, instead of you calling me out in front of the whole entire family. Um, it continues. Like basically, Taylor's family did a lot of, to me, they did a lot of gaslighting of her. Basically, it was like, well, Dakota's the father of the child, and you should be there. And, you need to learn to forgive and forget and, do what's best for the child. Um, they got arrested together last season for domestic violence while she was pregnant. Um, I've yet to meet someone in their late 20s, early 30s who has either committed domestic violence or be a victim of domestic violence that was so easy to, I don't know, be healed or go through these journeys. And like I said, Taylor went into therapy towards the end of season 1. And I believe they only took a couple months off and immediately started back filming into season 2. And Taylor is still in therapy. I don't necessarily know if this is their religion that's talking or speaking, or if this is how the dad wholeheartedly actually feels. But I don't know. Betrayal is something I if as a mother, my mental health is not stable, it's hard for me to be the best mother that I can be. And that's from experience. So, for you as my father and my family to sit and tell me, forgive, forget, and move on because it's the best for the child. At the end of the day, as the mother, and that child is living with me, if I'm constantly wrestling mentally with all of this outside noise, how is that best for my child? How is constantly fighting, bickering, arguing, not being able to heal best for the child? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Um, I'm gonna leave that there. Well, we see that Taylor basically is just over it. Um, she's crying profusely at this point, and she's like, no one is listening to anything that I'm saying. No one is listening to the fact that I'm attempting to express myself and I'm attempting to set boundaries. Nobody's listening to me. And at this point, she has family members telling her, girl, it's not about that. This is about sacrifice and judgment. And again, maybe this is part of their religion. I'm not sure. Um, but let's take religion out of it. You can sacrifice to no avail and lose yourself in that sacrifice. And again, what is that going to do to benefit her as a mother? How is that going to benefit her children? If you are constantly mentally, physically, emotionally drained, how is that any good for you to your children? It's not. And I'm proud of Taylor because Taylor gets up and she like, huh, I'm a chunk the deuce. I'm out. I see y'all later. And Dakota sits and he stays. We get a scene with Taylor's mom. We found out that Taylor's mom is a real estate agent. We also find out that Taylor mama is real involved. She apparently, when Miranda and Chase were together, she helped them find their home, and we find out that she is still in touch with both of them. Mama, you messy, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it, mama. I'm so here for it. So let's get into talking about this Halloween party and all the things of the things as to we are getting ready for. This Halloween party they have been talking about since episode 1. In Mom Talk community, they are big on Halloween. We see that all the girls are getting dressed and getting ready along with their spouses or significant others. We're going to see a whole lot of different costumes from Mean Girls to Naughty Nurse. There is actually two couples who dress up like J-Lo and Ben Affleck, which is absolutely hilarious to me considering we find out now, which we already knew from season 1, that this boy was not related to Ben Affleck, but that's neither here nor there. We find out that the guys are upstairs, Jesse and Demi's husband, along with the Chippendale dancers. They are upstairs getting ready for their performance. What is going on upstairs versus what is going on downstairs in the house? It's like there are two totally different worlds going on right now. Let's talk about some of the people that are showing up to the party. Taylor is invited, so is Dakota. Miranda is invited, so is her ex Chase. Now let's talk about this for a little bit. Let's talk about Mr. Chase. Baby, Mr. Chase is community peen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Um, Chase was married to Miranda. Chase then, during the swinging, ended up developing feelings for Taylor. Of course, Taylor did not feel the same way. We now find out that Chase is dating Jesse's friend, Kate. But before he was in a relationship with Kate, he hooked up with my homegirl, Layla. Baby, when I say community peen, baby, community peen. But that just lets you know as we are getting ready to walk into this party, it's already messy, messy, messy. All right. We go to a scene where Jesse and Demi's husbands are upstairs. Like I said, they're getting ready for the Chippendales performance as people are arriving for the party. They sit and they talk about, they don't think, from the conversations that they had with Zach, specifically Brent, when Zach, and Dakota were together earlier in the episode, that he say he changed, but they not really feeling that. um, Jessie is definitely feeling a little nervous. She's telling the group because she's like, look, husbands, y'all wasn't there. Y'all didn't see or hear the things that we felt. And now that we've sat down with Zach twice, we probably should have rethought this. But it's the day of the party. Everybody's showing up. They're upstairs getting ready. So it is what it is. Um, they also talk about, they're doing this as a surprise for Jen because Jen did not actually get to enjoy the Chippendales performance. We find out that Jason is one of the Chippendale dancers that they were able to bring in to teach Jesse and Demi's husband this who routine. And I mean, on the surface, if you haven't seen season one and you're just now new popping in season two, this is supposed to be like a lighthearted, fun kind of joke. Like, hey, y'all have had all this stuff happen. We want you to really get to experience Chippendales like the rest of us did. But again, nothing in this group is harmless. There is always this drama undercurrent. There is always this messiness going on. So we see that the party starts to kick off. And as you see, everybody's coming in with their costumes. They're naming what all the different groups were. To be honest, you guys, I really didn't care. I was here for the drama. You can see it's a lot of fake smiles going on. It's a lot of fake conversations going on. The vibe doesn't feel natural. It feels very forced. It feels like a lot of these girls are here kind of all to see the same thing. It's like, what's going to happen and what's going to go on. Because again, there are a lot of exes in the building, and some of these exes are bringing their new booze. You can just feel a lot of the pressure and a lot of the tension that's going on. Um, as everybody's coming in, a lot of the ladies are gathered around and they start looking around and they like, what is Jessie got going on? Baby, why is Taylor X here? Her and Dakota ain't supposed to be together. Why is Miranda X Chase here? Wait a minute. Is that the new piece of? Oh, oh, yeah. There's lots of side conversations going on, and a lot of the girls, like I said, are very confused. Now, remember, I told you who done all slept with who, and Layla is there with Cameron. And it's kind of very interesting to kind of gauge and see because, again, Chase then slept with two girls, two ladies of Mom Talk. He also had feelings for Taylor, and now he's here with the new girlfriend. Now, this is the highlight, and thank God it's at the end of the episode. Um, Chase and Kate walk up to Dakota. You see them having small talk. Taylor and Demi are standing off to the side, and they notice that Chase then walked up to Dakota and is talking to Dakota. So as the conversation goes, Chase basically is like, hey, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know why Taylor mad at me. I don't know what's, she done said or why we not getting along, but I'm cool with Taylor. And basically he's talking to Dakota. You can tell it's guy code. He's trying to get Dakota to, be like, well, she feel like this or she feel like that or whatever the case. He ends up telling Dakota, they never slept together. And while Chase is talking to Dakota, he's very animated. So it's like, hey, bro, I want you to know I never blah, 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 blah. Well, from afar, it looks like he in there doing like, say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't blah, blah, blah. That was never the case. But if you're standing back and you're looking from afar, like Taylor and Demi are, you will stand back and be like, now, wait a minute, what they over there talking about? And clearly, that's what ends up going on. Taylor ends up going over to them and she basically hops in the middle and her and Chase start going at it. She like, tell the truth, tell the truth, tell Dakota what really happened, blah, 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 blah. And he like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so he's like, you tell Dakota your truth. And she like, boy, I had a sex dream about you. And Dakota know that. Everybody else know that. I had a sex dream about Chase. Okay, and so what? And so that's why I said, baby, therapy is really working for Taylor. Do you hear me? Basically, this whole moment is she's wanting Chase to admit the things that he's done. Chase ain't having it. We then turn around and find out Chase is sitting up lying. And so Taylor's like, tell him you told me you had feelings for me. Tell him that. Tell him that. Well, we find out Chase actually did say he had feelings for Taylor, but at this moment, he on the spot and he like, nah, you know, that dumb shit. Well, and he keeps continuing to flip it back on her. Sir, why are you flipping this back on her? She's telling us her truth. We want you to tell us your truth. So at this point, Taylor and Chase are yelling, they're screaming. Kate, which is Chase's girlfriend, gets in the middle and she's like, you need to calm down. I'm not gonna sit here and you yelling and pointing your finger in her face. Like, that's rude, that's disrespectful. Right now, in this moment, I'm here for Kate because I don't know. I might have been the one, I might have would have been like, say, babe, back up, let me handle this. But for this, I respect Kate in this moment. I really appreciate her, pulling him to the side and saying, whoa, be mad, but don't be disrespectful. And so, big ups to you, Kate. I appreciate this. I wish that there were a lot of other wives and girlfriends, and at times, including myself, to take a lesson from how to diffuse a situation. Um, Now we flip to now Taylor and Dakota are now going back and forth. Taylor is like, you just sitting here and you believe in him. You just sitting here looking all dumb and stupid and goofy, like, okay, okay, all right, dude. So I kind of get where Taylor's at. Taylor was really wanting Dakota to stand up and defend her and the things that she was saying. And again, a lot of bro code going on. Oh, okay. But he does make an attempt to say, look, I didn't say anything to him. He was talking. I basically was just standing here listening. I didn't agree with you. I didn't agree with him. I don't even know how we got here. Because again, Dakota was standing there minding his business when Chase came up to him. He didn't say, hey, bro, come over here, come holler at me, come talk to me. He didn't do none of that. He was standing there minding his own business, and Chase made Dakota his business. Well, you guys, that is the end of the episode. I hope you all have liked the video. I hope you all hit the subscribe button. I hope that you all have a really, really great time here. I promise this next go round, I will not take as long to get episode 3 out. I just found out today they've decided that they are going to film a reunion for season 2, and I'm here for that. My goal is to get the rest of the season out to you guys here within the next week or so, to get all of the rest of the episodes finished so we can go ahead and get caught up on this reunion. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Please feel free to leave your thoughts, your comments down below, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.